Hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock. It's us, Alan and Emily. We are here with Ask an Expert. We've had so many new members. For those who, can I just say, I didn't realise how big my beard was at the moment. Normally,
it's quite big.
Normally, I have it a little bit scolded. We won't talk about my beard. Emily, tell everyone who we are, please. While I sort some stuff out on the computer quickly.
Hi everyone, it's Emily here and Alan.
Hi,
we are the founders of the group. Hello Hannah, I hope you are this evening. Good post, loved it today, thank you very much. We are the founders of this group. We have been running since January. If you're new to this group and you need to know a bit about, I can't speak.
What was that all about?
Don't know.
Just
I
speak.
don't know.
Just speak.
We've been running since January, basically born from a love of outdoor weddings. We have worked in outdoor weddings forever.
Hi, Emily.
And we started this group to help you guys with your planning and chatting and basically have formed this community alongside our blog. If you haven't checked it out, that's www.theoutsidebride.co.uk.
Yeah, basically I to some random path of life, Emily and I happen to know quite a lot about getting married in outdoors. In the great I don't like saying, I want to say the great British outdoors, but as we're international, we can't say the great outdoors. So what we thought we'd do is share as much of that as we can.
We're not just randoms though, are we? We have got a wealth of experience
Well, we're
between
no
us.
more random. It's like Richard Branson. If you met him and you didn't know him, you wouldn't think he knew about airlines, media, and music. And so, yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
My
really?
background is actually working for the Forestry Commission as working in recreation and big, large-scale public events, so outdoor events. So I have been involved in the planning, logistics, and the event management side of things. Alan's background, you were an event manager in Bournemouth, weren't you?
Yeah, I did some town centre event management and corporate event management in Bournemouth for their town centre and for JP Morgan, the bank down there. So, which was all very cool. And then the other thing is actually, now I was thinking about this the other day. So, for those who don't know, we're also heavily involved in scouting. We've been more heavily involved than we are now, in all fairness, but now we're loosely involved. Anyway, the point of the matter is, I organised my first outdoor event, patrol camp, 14.
Oh.
14. So I was
No,
it's not. But I was the PL for my patrol in Scouts, for those who know the lingo. And I organised a weekend camp.
Hi Amy, how are you?
I've already said hello to Amy.
I've
All right. And I organised that. So my first outdoor event I organised, I was 14 years old for, and that was a weekend camp.
And then obviously we've moved in the last 6.5. We're going into our 7th year of Baylily Bell Tents, and that started as glamping, and then swiftly evolved into outdoor wedding specific. Our main bread and butter now is outdoor weddings. That is pretty much all we do.
Experts in our field.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Yeah. And then we brought in some of our event management background as well to do more of the on-day coordination and offering advice and support and stuff. So it's kind of grown from there. And then this blog has grown and this group has grown since then as well.
So tonight we've got a few things we're going to talk about. So
that's a really nice view of me there.
Yeah, is it Becca? I forgot.
O'Neill?
Becca O'Neill asked us to talk about TENS, a temporary... You know what? When I read TENS, all I thought about was TENS machines. Right. So TENS is a temporary event notice, which I know nothing about, but I know Emily knows a bit about. So we're going to cover temporary event notices. Do you need them? If you do need them, what do you need to do, etc., etc. We know a little bit about planning and events as well, actually, and it's not a grey area. It's a very black and white area, yeah. But it is certainly open for interpretation at times.
It is, but TENS is actually very, very simple, and I think people can get very... Are we going straight into this, by the way?
No. Well, I was doing an overview of what we're talking about.
Sorry. Yeah.
So then we are also going to talk about the planning sessions. But we are
not seen it yet. How have you been?
Yeah, so we are really excited to bring you the planning sessions. Yeah. It's like, basically everything we know, we're going to give to you to be able to run, well, not just what we know, what other experts know. We're going to collate all this information from all these experts.
You're going into the detail.
No, I'm not. I'm doing an overview. And then we're going to give it to you, basically. That's part of the planning sessions. And then the third thing, unless anyone's got a question they want to ask, the third thing, which I've actually just gone blank.
What I was talking about before.
Oh, yes, you're going to discuss
what I'm doing on Friday.
What you're doing on Friday, which I know you're quite excited about, aren't you? Cool. So without further ado, Tens, Emily.
Well, firstly, actually, as Alan has said, if you're new to this group and you want to know what the structure of this is, so we ask for questions in the day leading up to Ask an Expert. That's absolutely fine. So if you're not watching live, that often happens. It's a funny time of day for people. Feel free to always pop your questions in the day before, and we'll answer as many as we can live. However, if you are watching live and we're still talking and babbling on, just type your questions underneath, and we'll always try and get to as many as we can.
Definitely.
Right, so TENS, temporary events notices. It can sound scary, but really, really, really is nothing to be worried about in the slightest. So they are mainly designed, not so much for weddings actually. Weddings sometimes need them, but they are mainly designed for more public events where licensable activities are taking place. Now there are 9 categories, and see if I can remember all 9. Plays, public plays, filming or films, so if you're doing like an outdoor cinema, boxing's one, weird, indoor sports is one, live music and entertainment, recorded music and entertainment of similar nature to that. What's the 8th one? Can't remember the 8th one. I'll get back to that. Oh, dance performances, and the 9th one is sale of alcohol. So they're the 9 criteria. If your event's covering those, you'll need a temporary events notice. However, the first 8 that I mentioned do not need a temporary events notice if there is no transaction of money. So if the event is happening for no reason apart from, you're not ticketing it, you're not selling, you're not making a profit from that event, those 8 don't actually matter at all. So you are okay, you're fine. If the main one for weddings covered is the sale of alcohol on your events. So if you are doing a cash bar of any way, in any sort of shape or form, you will need to have a license for that. If you are getting a bar company coming in, they may well do that for you. Most mobile bar companies have their own license to do mobile bars. So check with your bar company. If you're getting a third party in to do your bar, talk to them first, see what they have, what they need. You may still need to get one, but the likelihood is if a bar is coming to your event, you won't need to get one. If you are providing the alcohol yourselves, whether you're buying in the alcohol or doing a booze to France and bringing it in, and you're still selling that for any kind of transaction of value, you will need to get a temporary events notice. It's not difficult. Literally, you'll go to your local council where the event is being held, not where you're living, where the event is being held itself. Just do a search for temporary events notices, and you can do it most times you can do it online there, and it's about a fee of I think 20 quid, 21 quid, so it's nothing to worry about at all. They won't actually, there are only a couple of criteria for them to ever decline a temporary events notice, and those are where it could be a public event that could cause a public nuisance, where children are at harm. Could be at harm. I know. What is that?
I've been to some dodgy weddings, but not this
children could be
dodgy.
At harm where there is a threat to something. So basically, if you are, very unlikely. If it hits those, then they may question it, but they cannot say no to a temporary event unless it hits those criteria. So weddings, you're golden. Really, it's not a problem at all. The important thing to do is to make sure you have that done in time. So you only need to have had that licence.
That was a key part of the question, wasn't it?
Yeah,
What's the time frame
10 days before the event. However, we all know what life is like, and we all know what councils are like. And although it is a transactional, yes, no, fine, give yourself a few weeks to do it. Don't do it.
Well, I was going to say, can you do it, like, for argument's sake, in 18 months' notice? Do you know?
Yeah. You can, as long as you've put that provision in place. If you do it online, it will automatically sort itself out, and it's fine. If you do a paper copy where whether your council doesn't allow you to do it on their online services, if you do a paper copy, that copy will then need to be sent to the police, so the police are aware of that event on the day, so you don't get people knocking on your door when you're halfway through your reception going, have you got your events license?
As the locals call the popo and send them over.
And that license will have to be displayed or nearby your bar area on the day, on the off chance that something was to happen.
Okay, and just to recap, this is if you're selling alcohol
if you are selling alcohol,
that's not a bar company or a pub coming
even if that's just to recoup the cost of the alcohol you spent, whether it's even if you do, some people try and get around it with doing raffle tickets, that still actually does count, and it's just not worth the hassle. It's 21 quid to know that you have peace of mind and you don't have to worry about it at all. Also, if you're going to a fixed venue where they have weddings week in, week out, speak to them, because they also might have licenses and stuff on board as well.
You'd hope so.
And they may be able to do it on your behalf. Similarly, if you have a marquee or a TP company, a lot of them, even if they're not supplying your bar, they may be able to organise that for you on your behalf as well. It's just worth speaking. But it's nothing to be worried about. Like I said, it's only for licensable activities. If you're paying tickets, your guests are paying tickets to come and see your wedding. Don't know where I stand on that, as a bit of a grey area for ticketing to see you say I do.
Well, funnily enough, I'm going to be honest. I zoned out for a second, but I have seen a lot of comments in some of the other
buying their own plate. Sorry.
Yeah. That's all right.
I do that a lot. I'm really sorry.
I've seen a lot of comments on some of the other Facebook groups recently about charging people to come to the wedding, and
right.
So we might put a poll up about it, because I know how I feel about it.
That's actually a very good point to bring up. So, as Alan says, there are quite a few forums recently talking about, I can't afford the catering I want. I'm thinking about getting our guests to pay for their plate of food. Where you sit on that line's up to you. We're not going to judge either way.
Yeah, it's not the point. I don't think it's the point right now. No.
If that guest is paying for their plate of food and you put out a bottle of wine on the table, technically they have paid to be there, and that wine, even though it's complimentary on the table, would still be subject to a licence. So if you're going down that rule, yes, it's true. I've read up on that.
Okay.
Any kind of ticketable where alcohol, even if you go to, I don't know, if you were to go to a wedding fair, because I know that as an industry I've worked in as well, if you go to a wedding fair where you were given a glass of complimentary champagne on arrival, that's technically, even though, because you've paid for a ticket to go to the event and that's your complimentary drink, that's still part of your ticket because you're getting that as you arrive, so you would need to have a licence for that particular event. So exactly the same happens in a wedding situation. If anyone else, supply-wise, is in this industry and knows better than that, feel free to sort of pipe in, but to the best of my knowledge, and again, that's a bit of a grey area.
I think we need to check that, because I don't like doing this, but I've been told different to that question.
Go on the
fine.
The Gulf UK website.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I got told by a restaurateur that
it's for a temporary event licence.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
So yes,
we will just triple check, and we get that answer.
The best thing you can do really is, if you don't know and you're not quite sure where you stand, just pick up the phone to your local council. You know, they are.
Have you ever tried to ring your if you've got a spare half day?
You've got a spare half, but just speak to the that department, and they will happily tell you yes or no. And most of the time it'll be no. And they don't really have any.
It's one of those things. They're not actually trying to catch you out.
They're not trying to catch you as the wedding. If they see a marquee in a field and they know it's a wedding, they're not going to be like, oh, we must see if
it's the illegal raves and all of that.
That's what they're trying to capture. It's the festival site type stuff. It's all of that they're trying to, and that's what it's designed for, not for the one-off event where someone might be having a glass of wine and having a good time. So don't worry about it. And like I said, I will put the details, even the direct gov.
Let's put the link to the.
So you can do your own research, but literally, don't worry about it, and just give yourself more than 10 days. So you need to have it at least 10 days before your event. 2-3 weeks beforehand, absolutely ample. But just do it. It's a quick form. Don't have to think about it again, and it's done. And yeah, you're golden.
Cool.
Right,
Becca, we know you're watching this on playback, so we hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And you're 2020, I believe, aren't you? So I think you've got plenty of time.
You sure that wasn't Charlotte Brooke who's doing it? Or are they both? I know.
Oh, can I just say Charlotte Brooke this week?
Well, I know Charlotte Brooke's next year, because she put her 1 year.
21st of September.
Yes, she put her 1 year thing up recently, didn't she?
Charlotte, I love the picture of your bouquet, which was stunning, and I can't believe you've put that together yourself. Why was your bridesmaid stood in the shower with it? I couldn't quite work out what you were doing in the shower. So if you want to just piece that together and tell us why that was, I'll be really quite curious. It was very lovely. Just didn't know why you stood in the shower.
And that takes us on to our very, very exciting news. Our membership, the planning session. The planning session. So what we're doing at the moment, we're going to tell you all about it in a second. So we are in the middle of building it up. We are going to launch it on
the 10th.
And then it goes live
on the 15th.
Now, the difference between those dates will make sense in a moment, because basically what's going to happen. Well, I'll tell you what, you give the overview of the membership, nice and boom,
Yeah.
bullet
We
pointed.
have done a video in this week already, but we know a lot of you watch this video specifically every week, so we thought we'd capture those who don't watch everything in the group.
Absolutely.
We know you watch this. So the planning sessions has been designed with you guys in mind. We know a lot of you love this Ask an Expert session every week, and a lot of you have questions.
Well, as I sorry to interrupt. I know a lot of our new members. So if you're an old member, there used to be no questions. New members, there's now a question when you join the group, and it's not a tricky one. It says, are you getting married, are you married, or are you a supplier? We don't care, we're just curious.
Yeah.
That's it. And we've had a lot of the new ones going, yes, I'm getting married, 2020, want to get married outdoors, don't know where to start. So, this is really in response to...
For the most recently engaged, or the people who've been engaged for a while and have now gone, we're going to get married. Let's start doing some planning.
What do I need to do?
Alan and I talk weekly about the Sunday. Hello, Charlotte Brick. Do you want to read that quickly?
Hello. I've been asked that so much. Hold on. She was in the bath because it was dark outside and it's the brightest light in the house.
Fair enough.
I'm
sure it was something. I was like,
we've done stuff like that.
In the bath. Planning sessions, right? So we talk weekly about the Sunday night planning. Alan loves talking about the Sunday night planning. When you've sat down.
Well, I always think we only have two major bits of advice.
Every single week.
No, two major bits of advice when you get married. One, Sunday night, what you should do is sit down with your iPhone. Your phone, can't say iPhone. I can say it's not a license thing. I just want to make sure you're all included. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer, whatever. Books, magazines. And you should start thinking about how you want your wedding to feel, what you want to look at, what you want to see, what you want your guests to feel. Do you want them? I'm not talking about being happy. I'm talking about the flow of their movement around the site. What are they doing between that time and that time, and how does it feel? Are you looking out to sea? Are you looking at a cowshed? Are you in a cowshed looking out? Are you in a barn? So the Sunday night planning sessions is our number one bit of advice when you're getting married,
which is what inspired the name for the group.
And number two is, and we have put this out there, that is, if your budget allows, to some respect, you should get a wedding planner in whatever shape or form, whether that's the planning sessions, which we're about to talk about, or whether that's full wedding planning and management.
The caveat to that, though, is not if your budget allows, you should. If you want to, you should.
Yeah. Really, where it used to come from when the conversation started was the on-the-day management, wasn't it? Like, who's going to show your band where to go? Who's going to show your DJ, at the hog roast where to go? Because you don't want to have to do it and you want your guests at your party. So it was all about basically having a lackey, for want of a better phrase, fixing the toilets if they break. So that was where that came from. It wasn't about spending money in an industry. It was because we believed weddings would benefit from it.
But we know a lot of you girls and guys, sorry. There's lots of guys in this group as well now.
There are actually,
there's a fair few. We know you guys, the reason you're getting married in this particular kind of environment is because you... would you want to go and I'll carry on?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, there's a child awake.
Darn children. The reason you're getting married in this type of environment is the fact that you want to have the freedom and the flexibility, and you love the research. Like Charlotte, for example, here in this group, you've spent 2 years foraging and planning and finding things and designing yourselves, and you want to have that level of control of your day, so you wouldn't necessarily want to get a wedding planner involved. So with that in mind, we also know that a lot of you are in these forums because you're trying to learn as much as you can in such a short period of time, because you want to make sure that you have all bases covered. Becca was asking about temporary events notices today. You could find out that information really simply if you go onto Google and spend half an hour on Google researching all your forums and stuff. But it's a lot of information to take in a very short space of time. Now, Alan and myself, we've said we have been event managers, we have worked on weddings, we have event managed weddings, we have worked into the hundreds actually with the infrastructure and sort of support and stuff for brides and grooms getting married over the last 7 years of the business. We have a wealth of knowledge with that, and we talk about bits and pieces every single week, and we answer questions and we field questions. If you go back onto our YouTube channel, you can find all of these Ask an Expert, but it's all bitty. So what we wanted to do is to create something for you guys that allowed you to have a strategic, logical start to finish of planning, where all of these little bits, doesn't matter what style you're going for, whether you're going for a woodland wedding, you're going for a beach wedding, you're going for a rooftop terrace in, Los Angeles. The remit is exactly the same. You get engaged, you will pick a venue, you will have to look at the implications of that venue, what you can and can't do. You'll have to get suppliers involved and look at contracts. You'll have to get your infrastructure, your marquees, your generators, all that kind of stuff. You want to look at your detailing. There is so much to cover that we have created the planning sessions to help you logically look from start to finish on a Sunday night when you're sat with your other half. All the little details, you know that you are set. So it's going to be a 6-month membership, payable monthly, and actually you can dip in for as much as you want. So if you wanted to pay for this the first month, that's absolutely fine. And if you feel no, it's not for you, you can cut back. Hello? Come on. Or if you want to stay for the 6 months, that's absolutely fine. The 6 months will be a monthly cost, and then every single week we will drip feed to you the next step in that planning process for you to think about and implement and work on. So, for example, month 1, we're going from engagement or starting your event planning. It looks at your budget, it looks at budgeting sheets, it looks at where you want to get married, what kind of theme and feel you want for, taking out the entire stuff.
Yes.
Feel and theme, looking at venues, what you need to be looking out for when you're selecting your venues and that kind of stuff. So each week we will provide a video. The video will be, well, us talking, maybe with I can't speak. I've really lost the plot today. It will have visuals as well, so you can work through it, and it will support with a worksheet, workbook type thing where you can work through with some bullet points and stuff that you need to look for, as well as some exclusive blog content that's locked down to only people who are in the membership as well. So that's really designed to help you get your head around that section of wedding planning, and that will drip feed throughout the 4 weeks of the month, and then the next month starts and going through until pretty much gets you to the very end, 2 weeks before your event, last minute planning, making sure your timeline's straight and that everything's been covered. And when you get to that point, you know you are fine, and all you need to do is say I do and have a drink.
Boom. So if you are interested in the planning sessions, which obviously all of you are, if you head over to theoutsidebride.co.uk / I can't say that, it's the hyphen planning there's a link.
If you go onto the co.uk or outsidebride.co.uk, there is the planning sessions at the very top. Click on that.
Yeah, and it's halfway down, and it's in this group loads, and it's on the Facebook page. So yeah, anyway, the point is it will give you a bit more information, and at the bottom there's a little sign up box so you can be one of the first to know when it goes live, because the first 20 who 25 apologies, used to be 20, this was obviously changed, will get a free one-on-one Skype chat to help you plan your wedding. Anyway, that's it. Right,
make sure you do put your name.
There was some hearts and likes flying up. Thank you very much, guys.
We worked really hard, and it's been something we've been thinking about doing for the last few months as well. And we listen to you guys, and we see your private messages that you send us, and we see the comments and stuff. And we really wanted to put something together bespoke for you, knowing what the type of brides and grooms you are, and that you just want that little bit of extra guidance. It's actually priced quite reasonably at £20 a month, and that has been priced at the price of a cup of coffee a week. If you're going out for a Costa, put that.
Not where I drink coffee.
Well, why would I
it's reasonably priced anyway. We feel.
Yeah.
So.
Put your details down, and even if you're still on the fence and you want to find out more, put your details in on that. There's no obligation once you put your email
that's just a sign up list.
It's just a sign up sheet. Yeah. And then as soon as we go live on the 10th, it will be the first 25 on that list who want to come on board with us.
No, not the first 25 on the list. The first 25 who sign up, who get the email. But semantics are important.
We'll be eligible to the 30-minute Skype video / whatever
FaceTime,
poison
Skype,
you like.
Facebook, WhatsApp video. Who else? Does Facebook do one-on-one video? Does Zoom do one-on-one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Right, which then moves us on to, for anyone who cares, Joseph was stirring. He's in the regression. Sleep regression. So for about 8 months, he slept through perfectly. Actually, he was the third child who didn't get a look in edgeways, so therefore slept perfectly.
Story.
And now we are in the. He's been asleep since 7 o'clock ish, and it's now 8:30, and he's stirring.
And we'll get it at 10, and we'll get it at 1.
No, actually, no. Credit where credit's due. Last night he went through till 3:30, so it was all good. Yeah, Charlotte, absolutely.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you know what the thing is. I would say this very quick. I have this theory that it doesn't matter how many kids you have or how close to kids you are. You forget the second they are out of that phase. So there's me tonight putting Joseph to bed, and he's wasn't very relaxed, and I'm sitting there going, what did I do with Ben and Lydia Rose? What did I do? Amy, that's fantastic.
What's Amy say?
Amy's put, and this is, I'll finish my kid's story, then I'll say what Amy's put. What did I do with Lydia Rose and Ben? I can't actually remember how I used to put them to sleep, so I'd forgotten. Anyway, Joseph's also a year old in a week or two, so
2 weeks.
I don't know why I forgot it. Amy put, can't wait for the planning sessions. It's exactly what I need. I have a venue and that was hard enough. Got a date and now it's time to get planning. Thanks for Amy. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for writing that. That's and really for anyone else watching, we don't know Amy. We haven't asked her.
we haven't primed her, but thanks, Amy.
Amy, that's absolutely fab. And without sounding cheesy, this is why we're doing it, because getting out married in the outside is so rewarding. It's not better or worse. It's rewarding because you get to do what you want, how you want, where you want, and that's what we've always said about outdoor
And I
weddings.
like to think that we're actually quite down to earth people when we say it how it is. We don't like to over.
Well, I wasn't making it about us, but there we
well,
go.
unfortunately, you're going to get us for 6 months talking at you. So you either
anyway.
like us, you don't like us. If you don't, sorry.
Right. So, any questions on the planning sessions? Please do ask.
Yeah.
Please do go and register on the page. Yeah, the links are all over. I'm going to post it here in a minute as well, just so it's here. Do register, you're the first to know, because the people on that mailing list are going to be the first to know.
And likewise, if you know anyone getting married in the next couple of years, or who are recently engaged who aren't in this group, feel free to send them the link as well, because it might be of use to them as well. If you are already halfway through your plans, like Charlotte is, it may not be for you, but you may know someone who does, so please feel free to refer.
Yes, absolutely. Right, in that case, let's move on, because blimey, we've nearly hit half an hour.
We talk a lot.
We do talk a lot. Emily,
Oh,
relatively succinctly,
very, very quickly.
What are you doing Friday?
So, the lovely Jane Ray, who is our resident gin expert, is doing a gin tasting evening on Friday in our local town of Botley in Hampshire, and I am going along with some girlfriends from school who we're going to go and have a really cool gin tasting evening.
Mum's Club.
It is Mum's Club, yeah. I've become that person now.
No, nothing wrong with that. You're dissing anyone in Mum's Club.
No,
There's nothing wrong with
Mum's
Mum's
so many
Club.
years trying to not be the mumsy mum, but actually I love being in the
No, we do
Club.
love it. I love the school run. I love
great.
chatting to the dads
It's
and the mums of the school.
Because we're all in the same boat going, oh my God, I'm so tired. But yeah, so we're going to do, and I'm going along to that, and it's a really cool, we're going to do some, so Jane is O for the Love of Gin / the Thirsty Foal. She's got a gin tasting business and her gin bar that she runs, and I'm going to go along and take some notes and take some photos for some really cool gin cocktails that I'm going to put up on the blog this month. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited.
Yeah, you never know. There may even be a gin module in the planning sessions.
I think everyone should have a gin module,
right,
regardless of the planning session.
Question. Emily and I were debating cheese as on the outside bride. If you think we should do a section on cheese, I'm not talking about the planning session, just generally, if you think we should do a section on cheese at a wedding on the outside bride, please give me a thumbs up or a heart. I don't even know
why you want to do it on cheese.
Because no, it's not cheese. But I feel cheese fits into the outside bride.
It fits in any wedding. It's cheese.
Yeah, but I feel it fits specifically in a rustic, outdoory manner. Anyway, no one's put. Oh, there we go. We've got a smiley face.
No, that was a laugh. That was not a smiley
Amy,
face.
Amy, I'm all about cheese.
I'm all about cheese. I love cheese. It's one of my favourite.
So why would we not do a cheese blog? Cheese is more outside bride than gin is.
No, I'm not doing a cheese blog. It'll kind of detract from the whole point of the Outside Bride blog if we're doing planning.
Cheese is the best. More likes. Cheese, more likes.
Okay.
We get a guest post.
We're going to do a monthly gin blog, and we're going to do a monthly cheese blog.
We're not. We're going to. I know someone who runs a wedding cheese company. I think they're called Happily Ever After. I think she's in this group. I forget what groups they're all in. And she's local to us, so I'm going to drop her a message and see if she fancies a guest blog or something like that.
It's no point because no one can taste the cheese on the. We're going to be like, oh, look at this brie.
Right, ignore her, cheese lovers. Cheese lovers combined. Go away. Oh, is that one of the kids? Go and check them out. Anyway, we all love a bit of cheese, a bit of content on cheese, a bit of cheesepiration.
Go back to Chamonix.
Cheese-spiration.
Go back to Chamonix.
Cheese-spiration?
No.
Yes,
it's
look,
it's a laugh. It is not a smiley face. It's a laugh.
Laugh with me, not at me. Anyway, on that bombshell, let's draw a line. I'm feeling cheese-spired. No, that one doesn't work as well as cheese-spiration, does it?
Go and shave your beard off or something.
No, I know. Did notice I've still got suntan. I don't know. I've still got tan lines. I don't know how this happened. Probably my 10 days in the Alps, but I try not to talk about that. Charlotte,
11 and a half actually. 11 and a half days
in
you've
the
gone.
Alps. I know. Love being back. Let's
go.
Actually, for anyone who cares, I was up North Wales at the weekend doing that giant zip line over the quarry. Absolutely amazing. Highly recommended. Can we share a video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share my video into the group for anyone who cares, but definitely recommend
All
it.
you can see, because he's got his GoPro, is his little
It's
bit
quite
of
funny.
beard.
GoPro's here on my chest, pointing that way. You just see this beard going in the wind. Right, let's. People are dropping off now because clearly we're at the end. Right, thank you ever so much for tonight. Thank you. Hopefully we've answered your questions about tens, and if you didn't know about tens, you now do, and that's part of it. You don't know what you don't know. You do. You don't know what you.
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah. Then obviously the planning sessions that we're all very, very, very excited about. I'm glad to hear that some of you are excited about that as well. And then gin, and more importantly, cheese. So have fun. I'm going to share my zip line. Yes, I did do that. I'm sorry, I'm not that cool or gangster. No, I know. I'm not even that cool. I'm not that cool. Just very quickly before I go, X Factor, Robbie Williams, Hawaiian shirts, #just saying. Right, have a lovely evening, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.